Because here's the thing, I have taught this many, many times, but I just reorganized how I'm doing it. It's a new way of presenting this material. And so I know my stuff for sure. Oh, people are coming and going. It's okay. It's all perfect. And so I'll be referring to notes towards the beginning, but then I won't. So here we go. Welcome to Designing the Future You Deserve, Unlocking Purposeful Work in a Hyperactive Job Market. My name is Lynn Jordan. A little bit about me. If you don't know me, I have spent 20 years as a producer doing television and live events and national tours and some corporate work. And for the last 10 years, I have been helping people step into purposeful and meaningful work. And I have a 90% success rate. So yes. Here's how you know if you are in the right place. You are going to receive value from our conversation if you fit into any of these following criteria. You devote yourself to your job, you go above and beyond, and you may not get appreciated for it. You know you are here for something more. You may or may not know what that looks like, and you may or may not know what your next step would be. You might want to know how to make the choices that are right for you during this time of upheaval. You may feel trapped and feel that you are taking on a lot of responsibility. You are very competent, and you may not be surrounded by people who are as competent as you. As a matter of fact, you might not be surrounded by people at all. You might be the last person standing. You have gifts that are not being utilized in your work. And the gifts that you offer are not being recognized. And there is constant change happening in your work, and you feel you should just be grateful that you have a job. So I'm wondering, did I hit it for you? Are you in the right room? Do you resonate with any of what it is that I just said? Yeah. Go ahead and put in the chat like what resonated with you the most, just so I know who's here. I'd love to just take not you, Janet, but other people who would not crash while they're typing in the chat. Go ahead and just share like what did I just say that was like, yeah, actually that's me. I'm just, because I'd love to hear who's in the room and what we're bringing, like that. Great. All right, looking for purpose. And you'd like to be compensated for your contributions. Yes, Lynn. That's kind of a guess. We must have that happen. Oh, I just retired from a job where you were not appreciated. Okay. You were overworked, you were bored, and you were frustrated. Oh, I need to know what to do next. Shelley, I'm sorry, and you're in the right place. Great. And no, sorry, Patricia. I apologize, Patricia. I'm sorry, and you're in the right place. Great. Looking for more purpose. There has been upheaval, and now I want to find solid ground. Right, Shelley. Okay, good. Perfect. You are all in the right place. Janet, you're in the right place too. Just be safe. So how is this webinar different from other webinars that cover this topic? I will tell you, first, this approach is unlike any other approach that I know. And I am going to be offering you tools and techniques that I have seen that are proven and that have worked with the clients that I have met. And for like the clients that I have had, hundreds of clients over the course of 10 years. And this makes me very excited because these are some of my favorite things to share. And I know that if you take this and you implement them and you integrate this into your life, you will have transformation as well. Today, we're going to be introducing you to ideas. My idea is that we're going to shake you up and bring in, create some space for some new creativity to come in and some new sparks and new ideas to come in. The challenge is that we have a short time together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce as much as I can during this time so you can get as much value out of this as possible. And if there is work here that resonates with you, at the end, I'm going to offer you how to take things to the next step. I'm not going to sell you anything. This is all offerings like that. And my ask is that you are open and willing to start to take some action on the things that resonate with you today. That if you hear something that you're like, yeah, that resonates with me, I'm going to start taking action. I'm going to start integrating that so that I can get onto my path for purposeful work, meaningful work, solid ground. Let me know. I just want to know, are you up for that? If you're up for open to like, yeah, I'm ready to start actually integrating, go ahead and type the word integrate in the chat. So I just know what kind of energy we have here in the room. Oh, we've got to integrate plus an exclamation mark. Oh, look at this, exclamation marks. That's great. Great, perfect. That's exactly the energy that I was hoping to have in this room. Wonderful. So here are some challenges that some of you might be feeling when wanting to move forward towards your purposeful work. Your situation is in upheaval. You don't know what the best choices are to make for yourself. You know that you are here for more. You're not sure what that looks like. You're devoted and loyal to places that do not reciprocate. And you do not feel appreciated. You had not felt appreciated. You find that you are, oh, this is what I said before. You find that you are super capable. You only one capable of getting the results that are needed. And you're in a toxic environment. It's crazy making. And that's, of course, what happens in upheaval, because people's best selves tend not to show up during upheaval. I don't know if that's your experience, but that certainly was mine. And deep down, there may be a fear. Do I actually deserve to make money doing what it is I love? Is it possible to make money doing what I love when I'm so good at making money doing what I don't love? If I pursue something more meaningful, then my financial responsibilities won't be met and I have people depending on me. But deep down, no, but really what we all desire is to love the work that we do, to feel engaged, feel invigorated, look forward to what it is we do each day or night or weekend, whatever schedule suits you the best, to feel that you are in the right place and that you are thriving, and to have your full self involved in your occupation and to be surrounded by collaborators and people just as capable as you. And then deep, deep down inside, what I really think that what it is we want and what we really want is we want to utilize our gifts. We want to help people. We want to step into the fullest version of who we are. We want to make a positive impact and perhaps even start to build a legacy. Now, when it comes to stepping into the fullest version of who we are, I fully believe that the biggest gift that we can give to the planet is to step into the fullest version of who we are. Now, does that resonate with you? Like what it is that I just shared? Or did it kind of hit the mark for you about what it is? Okay, great. I'd like to share a story with you about myself, about how I landed to do the work that I'm doing, and what it is that I'm going to be offering to you today. It was the last recession. I was a producer. I found a great job in a large corporate world, which I did not really know before. And it was one of Forbes' top 100 places to work repeatedly every year. And the group of producers that I came into, it was in the digital production world, was by far the most talented, most devoted, smartest group of producers, that production team I had ever worked with. I was blown away. But then reorganization started and layoffs started. And so that fabric got ripped to shreds and people were leaving. And then we had organization reorg after reorg after reorg. And after the third reorg, half of my team bailed, whether or not there was work waiting for them. I decided to stay. Red flag. Not great, because I was overly devoted. That's who I was. I stayed. I did 4 months of 12-hour days because there was nobody else to do the work. And I figured I am going to be rewarded for this now. So then it came up to my annual review, and then a new leadership team came in and rewarded me instead of a raise and a promotion. They rewarded me with something called a performance improvement plan. Does anybody know what a performance improvement plan is? Oh, we got some yeses. Okay, so for those of you who don't, because I can't see everybody, just in case you don't, performance improvement plan is a legal means by which to let employees go without cause. It is an 8-week process. And they said, now I had never met the new leadership team, but apparently they knew me. They said the reason why they put me on the plan was because I was underperforming. Now, if I had been underperforming, that would have been the appropriate thing to do. I was overperforming. Everybody knew it. To put into context, a full workload was running 3 projects. I was running 11. So I couldn't take it personally. I knew that there were other things at play that had nothing to do with me. So here's the decision I made. Now, the performance improvement plan is designed to be a very shaming experience so that people quietly leave the company with their tail between their legs. I decided to make it the most positive experience I possibly could. And I didn't know that at the time, but that is what changed my entire trajectory for my work relationship. My work relationship, going above and beyond, not being appreciated for it, getting burnt out, just giving so much, feeling so obligated to, like, I was the worker. I love to work, and it not being reciprocated. And it sounded like, based on what it is that you ladies typed in the beginning, there was a lot of simpatico about how what we do in the work world. So then during that process, I had this defining moment. And the defining moment for me was when I was reviewing what they were claiming for me. And one of the things that they were claiming was that there were projects that were off the rails that were not mine, that they were blaming me for. I didn't work on the projects, but apparently they were my responsibility. So, and I said, is this the first time that I am being blamed for things that had nothing to do with me? No. Is this the first time I have felt disrespected? No. And the other thing was, I went above and beyond for 4 months and was unappreciated. Is this the first time I was unappreciated? No. And that was the defining moment. These were patterns for me. And then I said to myself, that is it. Lynn, moving forward, I am not going to accept work where I feel unappreciated. I am not going to accept work where I feel disrespected. As a matter of fact, Lynn, I vow to you, this was an inner Lynn, I vow to you moment. I am only going to accept work that is the opposite. I'm only going to accept work where I'm going to feel appreciated. I am only going to accept work where I feel respected. And then 2 other needs came up. I only am going to accept work where I'm doing good work in the world, and I'm only going to accept work where I'm having fun. So 4 new non-negotiable needs. I shifted my internal parameters. And I had no idea that that was the defining moment that put me on my path for purposeful work. After I was escorted out the building, the way that one does with a known criminal, I was accepting only work where I felt appreciated, respected, doing good work in the world, and having fun. As a matter of fact, an old producer reached out to me and said, join my team. We're doing $1 million fundraiser for Heal the Bay, which is an organization here in Los Angeles devoted to cleaning up the Santa Monica Bay. It was fun. I was appreciated. It was doing good work in the world, and I was respected. And I was like, oh, work can be like this. I've not had to look for work since. And they've all the projects have hit this criteria. So here's my takeaway from this. And this is what it is I want to share with you today. And this is what I'm going to introduce to you today. My takeaway was, it is not my smarts that put me on my career trajectory. It is not how capable I was that put me on my career trajectory. It was actually a version of emotional mastery. It was my emotion, the power of my emotional state is what put me on the trajectory for purposeful work. So the one thing that I want you to know is that you are one emotional shift away from getting on your path to purposeful work. It is literally what happened to me. And that's what it is that I want to share with you today. Part of some of the things I want to share with you today. So I have some content that I want to share with you. Before we get there, though, I want to address some beliefs. And I want to start to reframe a few things so that I can get you emotionally and intellectually pumped primed for this. Some people feel that work is something you need to endure. Some people feel that work is something that you're obligated to do. Now, I want to reframe this, and I want to tell you that my definition for work is, it is your contribution to the greater good. So So actually and PS, I want to write that down. So I define work as your contribution to the greater good. And then the other thing is that some people feel like, oh, wait, do I really deserve to step into work that I love? And that has to do with a sense of self-value. Does that resonate with you? I'm just wondering, is there like a, oh, wait, do I really I'm so devoted to the other things. Do I actually deserve it? So that's connected. So yeah, I'm seeing a couple of head nods. So, and I'm in there with you and I totally get it. So that's connected to your self-value of what is it I'm worthy of having? And I want to share with you the fastest way to raise your self-value. So self-value. The fastest way to raise your self-value is to make a commitment to yourself and to do it. And it could be really innocuous or it can be grand. It could be, I am going to commit to myself that I'm going to make my bed. And then you make the bed and then your value goes up because you're worth it, because you're worth it to have the made bed. I mean, let's face it, the bed takes up a lot of real estate in the bedroom, right? So you are giving yourself, so because when you say, I'm going to make the bed and you don't make the bed, it reinforces what level of worthiness you feel about yourself. Does that make sense? So great. I'm loving the head nods. So I'm just going to throw this out to you. Here are all sorts of things you can do to start raising your self-value. It is as simple, not as easy. It's as simple as saying, you know what, Shelly, I deserve brown rice. I'm going to make some brown rice. Patricia, yes, I'm going to sit in meditation. And then you do it. The difference between doing it and not doing it is what's going to increase your self-value or is going to reinforce the level of self-value that you have for yourself now, like that. And here's the thing. You're here, right? So you want purpose. That is courageous. You showing up here is courageous and taking the step here to go, okay, I'm actually taking myself seriously enough to show up for myself for here. And that in and of itself, you can create for yourself. If you want, you can do a self-value journal. Oh, I have so many homework assignments. Do them, don't do them, whatever. But I come up with so many ideas of like, hey, here's ways you can reinforce this. So take it, don't take it. There you go. But in order to step into a purposeful career, in order to step into, oh, I don't know what's next for me, but I'm committed to myself. It is requiring you to step into a new level of self-value. And that takes courage. And you know what else? Oh, this just came to me. When you do something that is courageous, you get support. You get someone who's like, yeah, I got you. You're going to do something courageous and I got you because I see the trajectory for you. Boom. So here you go, courageous ladies. I'm going to take you on the rest of this journey today together. Now, hold on. I got lost. I'm coming back. Most people come to me because they're like, I know I'm here for something more. I'm not sure what it is, and I need some clarity. And then what we do is we access your internal wisdom because we're talking about emotional shifting, internal wisdom to take action out into the world. Here's the path that I do with my people. So because I neglected to share this with you, I am a producer, as we know. So I went back and since I discovered, oh, work doesn't have to be a death grip on my life. Oh, is there a system to what it is that I've gone through? Yes, I'm a producer. I create systems. I love systems. And then I said, if I share it with other people, will it be successful? And yes, the answer is yes. So here is the system that I, as a producer, created, and it's called the Create Your Career from the Inside Out system. It's a 6-step process, and this is the 6 steps to your purposeful and meaningful work. Okay, so here we go. Here, purposeful, come here. Purposeful, meaningful work. Boom, this is the trajectory. How are we for the frame? Okay, good. So 1 is we do something, we create something called your dream job state. Here is why. We don't need to know what it looks like, but we want to know what it feels like. So we call it the dream job state. 1 is the dream job state. Dream job state. I don't know how this is going to look on the screen. I'm going to see. That looks like not very good. Okay, number 2. We look at your momentum. What's happening for you what's happening now that you can take into what's working for you right now? What energy is there that you can take into your future? We look at your current momentum. From there, we go 3. We look at how do we affect our environment? We create something called a network of goodwill. So 3, we're just going to call your environment. We're going to talk about that today. 4, we look at your patterns. We look at your patterns and then we flip them. That was, I'm no longer going to work. I'm no longer going to be unappreciated. I will only work where I'm appreciated. We flip it. 5, oh, we generate successes and we celebrate successes. And then step 6 is we celebrate. Because I guarantee you, when you are there, step 6, you are nowhere near where you were in step 1. And that is the path that we take to purposeful and meaningful work in the Create Your Career from the Inside Out program. Now, I'm going to introduce to you some concepts. We're going to look into some of these concepts, and we're going to do it with you now. So, the first concept, I'll wait for time. Right on time. First concept, I am calling the limits of logic. Okay. People who find me are very smart and very capable. I like to look at things in terms of skill sets. So the skill sets of problem solving in place. My guess is that you are someone who is able to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. So then when you're taking your approach to stepping into meaningful and purposeful work, you're going to figure it out because that's what your brain does. So what you do, and this is the biggest, most common mistake that I see with people. They were like, I'm going to get smart. I'm going to make a list of my strengths. I'm going to make a list of my talents. I'm going to make a list of what motivates me. And all that's doing is accessing the part of your brain that's problem solving. But here's the thing. It totally makes sense. It's what you know. No, I don't like what I wrote there. I'm skipping. But here's the thing. Your purpose is actually connected to your soul. Your soul is connected to your heart. And when you access your heart for communication and heart for wisdom, it accesses a different part of your brain than your problem-solving brain. So the purpose is actually connected to the part of your brain that has to do with dreams and the part of your brain that has to do with emotional connection. So I asked you to take notes. I'm going to have you do a little, we're going to do a little thing together now. I want you to write down one thing that you're really good at work, or you were really good at work. One thing. Now, I want you to write down one thing that you love in your life. Could be work related, doesn't have to be work related. It could be an experience you've had, or it could be a person, place, or a thing. One thing you love. Good. So this is the fast track out of your head and into purpose. So we're doing it right now, fast track. Now, next step. Okay, next step. What adjectives would you use to describe how it feels when you are doing that thing that you're really good at work? What adjectives would you describe how it feels? Good. You guys are great. I can feel it from here. Now, what adjectives would you use to describe that thing that you love, that experience or thing that you love? How does it make you feel? What adjectives would you describe how it feels? And this is interesting because I want to make an observation with you, Shelley. Your face totally changed. You go, oh, and you start to smile when you were like talking about, when you're dropping into like what it is that you love. It's interesting. It's really interesting how evident it was. Like, this is what I was good at. This is the face of, this is how it felt to be good. And then this is the face of dropping into what it is I love. It was really evident. It was interesting. It's just a noticing. I'm just sharing with you what I noticed. Now, next step, we are going to separate the list of adjectives from the things. So the things go away, and now you have a list of adjectives. So, now you can engage your brain. So first of all, let's look at your adjectives. In my world, we don't need to know what your purpose looks like. We don't need to know what it looks like. But if you know how it feels, then you can take action to reinforce how that feels. And that is your subconscious coming to the surface, telling you how you are aligned. That is your internal wisdom informing you what you should start, not what you should, what would feel wonderful, purposeful, meaningful if you were to add these things to if you were to populate your life more feeling these things. So for instance, go ahead and type your adjectives or how it feels to do good work. What were your adjectives for that? The work ones. Okay, great. Good. Okay. Connected to other. I like that. Oh, hi, meaningful. Okay, okay, there we go. Meaningful, caring, worthy, good, connected to others, respected, accomplished, fulfilled, proud, acknowledged. These are great words. Satisfied, giving, valued. Yeah. I was smiling because of the two adjectives for what I love. Okay, good. I'm not gonna even read that yet because we're gonna go to love next. Now, go ahead and share your adjectives for what it is that you love, the one thing that you love. Okay. Huh? Shelley, that's quite a discovery. Joyous, exuberant. Yes, Patricia. Meaningful, caring, interesting. Great. Great. Now, I want you to, next step, take an action to reinforce what it is these adjectives are. So instead of thinking, so now because we've separated the adjectives out from the tasks and the things, when you take an action to reinforce, let's say joyous and exuberant, like I could bake, what could I do that would make me feel joyous? Baking banana bread makes me feel joyous. Something that will make you to reinforce the feeling. So where we went from is like, oh, identified something that I love or I'm good at. Identified the feeling, which is your adjectives. And I want to take action to reinforce that feeling. And when I take actions to reinforce this feeling over and over again, inexplicably, you have more in your life that you love, which can be a cognitive experience or just a discovery. Look, I have more in my life that I love. Like that. Does that make sense to you? So I want to ask you no, that's not what I wanted to ask you. Before I ask you something, I'm going to tell you about Joanne. Now, this is a great thing to do for interview prep. So I have a client. Her name is Joanne. She came to me. She had been interviewing for 4 months. She wasn't getting anywhere. She was feeling really desperate and frustrated and demoralized, which is what is very common and appropriate. And I said, but here's the thing. You're bringing everything that you're feeling is what you're bringing into the interview room with you. So I said, here, what is it you love in your life right now? You can also use grateful. What are you grateful for in your life right now? She made the list. I said, we just did exactly what it is that we just did together. She made her list. She made her list of adjectives. She separated her adjectives from the things that she loved. And I said, okay, now keep this list of adjectives with you. And boom, she was becoming way more buoyant and vibrant and all the things. She went in and she had her interview, and then she called me and said, the interview went great, and then she got a job offer. And now we are negotiating the job. It was this mindset shift that allowed her to be seen for who she is and be effervescent and then be able to offer what it is that she offers like that. So that is a practical application of this concept. Yeah. So let's imagine that you started a practice where you dedicated yourself to identifying what you love in your life, how it makes you feel, and taking actions to reinforce these feelings. I want you to imagine 6 months from now, you have a practice. How do you think that this could affect your life? How do you think your life could shift or change if you had this kind of practice going on? I'm wondering. You'd have better esteem, sure. More peace, general well-being. Great, great, great. Here's my ask. More connected. Yeah, great. So here's my ask. Is there an action that you are willing to take that can start this practice for you now? Is there an action that you can take that could start to reinforce one of your adjective lists? One of your lists, one of the adjectives on your list, like that. Okay. Now, the next concept I'm going to introduce is called your personal empowerment. And we're going to go back to my story. Personal empowerment. Okay. Because I want to revisit the statement that you're one emotional shift away from getting onto your path to purpose. So let's go back to my story. And now we're going to do, your empowerment path. Here we go. So let's dissect that moment for me. Like that moment that I had of like, that's it, moving forward. No, only the opposite. So let's go back to that moment. So because I'm imagining that things are happening in your world, whether it's out in the world or what's happening in your world, that you might have some very heightened emotional charge to. You might have some feelings about what's happening in the world. Emotional charge. So I'm going to start with the feeling that was so emotionally charged for me was feeling disrespected. My suspicion that you might be feeling something emotionally charged as well. So we take the one that I feel the most emotional charge. Which is negative. Nope. Negative. Oh, most emotional charge. That for me was disrespected. Then I said, I want to do only the opposite. And then I came up with the opposite feeling with the same emotional charge. But I flipped the charge to it to be a positive charge. And look, this emotion is so lovely and sweet and kind. And so that is respect. And then I take an action to reinforce the positive charge. We know that. We've just done that. So when I said that's it, only going to be respected, I got put on a team. We got all pulled in. This poor team. Everyone was pulled off of their projects to do like the project on fire. And everyone was like, and I said, okay, listen, I know we're going above and beyond here. What is it we can create together? What is it? And people were like, well, we could do this. We could have this messaging. Oh, we could have this functionality. Oh, we can QA that. Oh, and we pushed together. We had to redesign the website for the corporate headquarters in like 3 days. And so what ended up happening though was that I felt so respected. I felt so appreciated. I was doing this. I love running. This is a long way of saying I love running teams. I love it. And so I got to do something that made me feel respected and made me feel appreciated. And it felt so good and deep inside me. And that reinforced my positive feeling right there. So this is your inner world of how to take charge of your life. And I've seen it work over and over again, because what you're doing in this process, you are moving forward. And you end up disengaging when you take these actions, when you identify the opposite and take actions to reinforce the opposite, you are then going to disengage from what's making you feel the horrible, crappy, horrible, negative stuff. Either that situation is going to change or your relationship to that situation will change in an empowered way. So your empowerment actually lies in your juicy, heightened emotional state. Does that resonate with you? Does that make sense? On an intellectual level, do you understand like that? Let me tell you a story about Danielle. So here's what it looks like in action. So Danielle came to me in the beginning of the pandemic. She was like, she had 2 school-age children. Schools closed down. Her office did not. She said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to lose my job. I said, okay, identify. How do you feel? What is your most emotionally charged feeling? She told me what her most emotionally charged feelings. I said, okay, let's identify the opposite. What's the opposite? She identified the opposite. I said, okay, let's take some action to reinforce the opposite. And she gets on the job boards and boom, within a month, she had a new job working from home at a higher rate. It was the perfect job for her in that moment. That is an example of how this works. Oh no, I feel this. I don't want to feel this. I want to feel the opposite. What can I do to reinforce the opposite? Like that. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how empowered do you feel about your current work situation? Oh, Lynn, I'm sorry. Shelley, now an 8. Was a 4, now an 8. Yes. Patricia, 4. Okay, great. Let's fast forward 6 months from now. And let's imagine that you have developed a facile ability to step into your own empowerment, to take actions, to reinforce what is right for you. And this is what I define as emotional mastery. This process here, it is the backbone of the work that I do for myself and I see for other people, and their lives are changing. This is the process that you can create the world you want to see and create the life you want to live. So let's imagine 6 months from now, you have gained emotional mastery over this and you feel empowered, and you are on the path to making choices that are right for you to reinforce purpose and meaning in your life. So how would that feel 6 months from now? Let's imagine you have this, you are doing this, you are owning it. What would that make you feel? Like what kind of impact might that make in your life? Yeah, a greater sense of worth and peace. That's great because you're in search of solid ground. So how great. Yeah. Fulfilled and enthusiastic. I love that for you. Patricia, that's how I see you. That's actually how I see you. That's like, I see that being like your natural state. Empowered. I can do this. Yes, Lynn. Disempowered to empowered. Boom. Boom. Great. So are you willing to commit to yourself? Hey, moving forward, Shelley, moving forward, Patricia, moving forward, Lynn, I'm going to step into more empowerment, which also requires courage. It's your inner it. Can you commit to yourself? You're going to take that step moving forward. And now I'm going to, wow, looking at the time. So now I'm gonna wrap this up. Now, great. Oh, yes, look at you with the yeses. I didn't even expect that. That's wonderful. Yes, great. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I've loved sharing what I've been able to share with you. The thing is that I actually had more to share with you, but I'm seeing that we're out of time. So we're good. So here's the thing. Everybody has different experiences. I don't know what your experience is because I don't know you and we don't have the time, and that's not what this format is, but I would love to know what your situation is. So what I'm offering is a free one-on-one, if this work resonates with you. And if you are, yes, I am ready to take the next step as a commitment to myself. I'm not saying sign up with me and take a huge big thing. I'm saying, yeah, I'm ready to take the next step. And here's what I'm going to offer you. A one-on-one half-hour clarity call with me. And during this clarity call, we're going to address 3 things. 1, what your current situation is, what your strategy is moving forward. 2, what resonated with you here today, we can actually apply to your daily life. And 3, because of that, you and I will come up with the organic next steps for you so that you can move forward like that. If you would like that, go ahead, either type yes, or if you're coming in hot and you're like, yeah, Lynn, I gotta talk to you. I just popped in my Calendly link. Go ahead, click on that, grab a half hour, and you and I will get to know each other and get you some clarity like that. That's what I would love to meet you, and I would love to, if this resonates with you. There you go. So we're coming up right to the hour, and I want to respect it. So I've really enjoyed sharing these things with you. Thank you for being here and doing this. And I want to end and leave you with my final wishes for you. Here's what I wish for you. I wish for you that you end up in a place where your gifts are fully utilized, where your contributions are recognized, and that you feel really good about what it is you do with the majority of your waking hours. That was a wish that I made. I posted it on Facebook when I got released from that company the day after. And now I realize that that's what it is that I'm doing and helping people. Okay. Yes. Yes, Janet. Great. Wonderful. I'm glad that you thought this was helpful, and I look forward to connecting. I wish you
Thank you.
well. Be well. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
will. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay. Great. Great. Ciao.
Hey, Lynn, do you have any slots next month? Or are you just trying to focus on this week?
I am trying to focus on this week, but of course, there will be slots next month as well. Yes.
I'm sort of I've got a lot on my plate for the next 2 weeks, and I think I'd like to kind of ponder this and then talk to you if it works for you.
Yes. Let me get into my calendar. Well, hold on. How do I want to do this? Let's set up a time, you and I. Let me pull out my calendar and we'll just put it in manually. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm traveling the 7th and like 6th, 7th, 8th, and I've got a lot to do to prepare for that. So,
Keep thinking. I'll be right back.
okay.
Yes, we can end.